Good day and greetings from the Great White North. My name is Prickly Poo and welcome to day 329 of a year of change. We're ending another week, and this sort of marks the end of week 46? No, 45. Sorry, no, wait, 47. There we go. Went back the other way. Because we're really starting tomorrow, we've only got about 5 weeks left, and then we're all done our stuff forever. Well, for this series anyway. But we'll get to my conversation before. This week, not a lot has happened. I was a little bit lazy, actually. Thursday and Friday, I just kind of did a half-assed treadmill thing, which I find I'm doing more and more. I don't like it. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm fine. I can actually keep up. I can keep the pace going. I know what I need to do. And then Thursday, I start to sort of do a halfway job. And then Friday, I kind of do a halfway job. So I think part of me is thinking I'm doing a little too much, and then the other part of me is going, no, you need to push yourself more, so got to figure out what I'm doing there. But even meal-wise, throughout the week, actually, normally what I'll do is I get up, I have my breakfast, I have my lunch, which is usually just fruit, and then a regular supper. But I was really lazy this week. I didn't want to prepare anything. And normally that would sort of tip me over into, I'll just order, a pizza, or I'll buy something, cheap and easy. Food-wise. Buy something, at the store, just something in a box. But I didn't want to sort of go back to that. So I just did a repeat of breakfast. I just ended up having cereal for supper 2 or 3 days in a row. Which is not obviously the best thing to do. Could have been a hell of a lot worse, though. As you can hear as well, throat is a little wonky. Starting to catch something, I think. Hopefully it's not going to be too serious. But, so that might be part of it as well. Just for the past couple of days anyway, there's been a little bit of a in my throat. So my eating has not been terrific. Instead of me actually going and getting a pizza or hot dogs or burgers or something like fast food or anything like that, I've still been having just regular fruit and cereal and stuff like that for my supper each night. Which, again, not great, not what I should be doing, but a couple of days is not going to kill me. Should be fine. But at the end of work yesterday, sort of the end of our week, long weekend coming up, so everyone's just sort of saying goodbye and talking back and forth and stuff like that. And someone had mentioned that they were going to go shopping for clothes, which I have yet to do. I still have not gone yet, which I really should. And I had mentioned, this is something that sort of made me feel like I feel like I'm fishing now, which is kind of weird, but I'll explain it in a second. So I said, I should probably go do the same thing. I got to get new clothes. And there was a bit of a pause in the conversation, and I felt like I needed to sort of qualify that. So I just went, my clothes are a little baggy, or getting a little baggy. And that's where immediately I was like, you're fishing. You're waiting for someone to go, did you lose weight? Which wasn't my intent, but it's just as soon as I said it, I knew it was coming. I'm like, this is like someone going, boy, I sure do need new clothes. Mine are getting looser, wink, wink. That's what it felt like. So, but they had asked, and they said, and I said, yeah, I've been losing some. And then they went, well, how much? This is the part that always feels like bragging at this point, which is such a weird thing. Because when I first started out, if I had gone to someone and said, well, how much did you lose? It wouldn't matter how much it is. If they had said 20 pounds or 50 pounds or 100 pounds, it was always like, oh, God, I wish I could do that. I really do. And the first thing you ask is, what have you been doing? Because we've all done it. We've all gone up to someone and said, like, obviously, you've lost weight. Either you've heard from someone else or you've seen them change and say, like, what are you doing? How do you do this? Whether or not we do it is a different thing entirely. But when they said, well, what have you done? And like dieting or exercise, and really sort of had to stop to think, because it's difficult to sort of express very quickly without just going, why, yes, I have a website. You can go here and you can do this. So I had said, no, I stopped eating entire buffalo at a single meal, really, is all that it is. It's just I've stopped the overeating and eating junk food and stuff like that. But trying to explain, no, I haven't really cut anything out. It's just that it's gotten to a point where you don't want to do that because you're making progress, and I'm horrible at explaining it. Like trying to sum up a year's worth of work in a very short amount of time, especially on a Friday when everyone wants to go home, is kind of hard to do. But then they had said, well, God, I wish I had that sort of willpower. or discipline. Sorry, is what she said. And at that point, then the douchebag came out, and I was like, it's not really discipline. Like, so, and then again, as soon as you say it, you sound like an asshole, which was not my intent. But it got me thinking that over the past year, I mean, we're at this stage now, and I know that we've skipped a few weeks where we haven't made changes, and when we were first starting out, we weren't doing too many. But when we really look at it, we've only made anywhere between 40 and 45 changes to our lifestyle, which sounds just minuscule when you look at it at this stage. And they've been really, really small. They've been insignificant at the time, but because they've built up over such a long period of time, they have made a big difference. And at this stage, it's not so much having the willpower or the discipline to stay on track and do things, because we still have, I mean, I still have days when I just want to eat everything. But it's that how do I explain this? The cravings are still there from time to time. Just they're getting fewer and fewer, getting to be fewer and fewer. I still have cravings for pizza. Had them today, actually. Almost bought it, but didn't. Because I figure I'm going to wait. That's going to be my reward. When I hit that 100-pound mark, I'm going to have a pizza. Not an entire pizza, but I'm going to order a pizza. Or I'm going to buy a pizza and have some pizza. And it's not a matter of cutting food out and saying, no, I don't want to do this. But I'm on a roll now. I'm back eating healthier, except for the cereal thing this week. But I'm back in general eating how I should be eating, having the proper amounts of fats and proteins and all the other stuff, which I should probably pay a little more attention to. But it's even out. I'm on a really good schedule where I've got, a good sort of mediocre low-calorie breakfast with lots of fiber. And then during the day, it's really just fruit. And then at night, I have a reasonable supper. So I'm on a good path, and I want to stay there. I want to keep going just until the very end at least, so that I can, I don't think I'm going to hit that 100-pound mark, but I might. So that's what I'm looking forward to is, maybe I'll do it without going overboard and saying, all right, well, the last week I'm just not going to eat, because that would be stupid. And it would be kind of like cheating at this point. But it doesn't feel like it's a lot of really just sort of hardcore discipline that's getting me through this, because I don't feel like I'm struggling every single day. And I think part of the success of this is that we haven't really gotten to that point yet where we said, well, we can never have this again. We can't do this. We can't do that. Oh, we had a day, then this is over. We have to start all over again. Because we've sort of kept a realistic view throughout this entire thing and saying, you know what? I know what's going to happen. I know there are days that I'm going to go over my calories. I know there are days when I'm going to have cake. I know there are days when I'm going to want to eat 5 cheeseburgers. But we've sort of accepted that right from the very beginning and said, yes, we are going to have these days when things are just absolutely terrible. And, for the most part, we get through them. I still get those cravings from time to time, and it's tough to not just say, you know what, this is what I want. I want to get this and this and this and this, and then go and, just sort of go on a binge. It is still difficult, but it's much easier than it used to be. And I think that's sort of the key as to, why we've been able to make such progress. That a year ago, having a craving like I had today, I would have bought at least one pizza, if not 2 or 3. I would have bought all the extra cheese that goes with it and everything else, and I would have come home and just ate. Or I would eat and eat. My tenses are all wonky. I would just come home and eat until I got physically sick to the point, when you're full, I can't swallow this or I'm going to throw up. And then have a nap and then get up. And as soon as I was not sick, I would eat some more. And, we've known what our issue is for a very long time. For me, a lot of it was the overeating more than, the type of food. But the type of food obviously was causing a big deal as well. So I know that if I had run into that what I did today, then yeah, I would have buckled at that point. And we're so used to saying, it's so hard, it's so difficult, I can't do this, I have no willpower. And we don't. It's very difficult to do. I'm not diminishing that at all. It's still hard to do it. But in the cravings themselves, the strength is still there, because just like quitting smoking or anything else, that that need is still there. And it's not just sort of a chemical addiction with us. There's that emotional attachment that goes along with it. Plus the fact that we're still, technically, we're doing it every single day. We still have to be in contact with food all the time. So it's like breaking up with an ex that, you can go for months and months and months where all you're doing is sitting and drinking and crying and feeling like shit. But it's not that you sort of say, well, it doesn't matter anymore. But dealing with those episodes gets easier and easier. Not even that they get easier, just that you get better at dealing with it is probably the best way to put it. So when I do get these cravings now, it's very tempting to still go around and try to think, okay, well, I want this, I'm going to buy this, I'm going to buy that. But then you think back to the success that we've had and where it's going and saying, you know what, yeah, it's not going to hurt me to have, pizza because I haven't had any in months. It should be fine. I've lost weight, I've made progress this week, it should be okay. Then there's that part of you that goes, yeah, but if I just sort of deal with the craving for the next 15, 20 minutes, however long it lasts, which is still difficult, but it's a bit easier now because it's not an all-day, everyday thing. If I just, sort of let the craving go through and just simply don't buy the food, buy something healthier and then I'll bring it home and I'll have it once I'm not freaking out and going, I want to eat everything. Once that has gone, then I'll be able to do that because even though it's not going to be anything that's going to set us back a tremendous amount, it's still something that we go, no, I'm on a good I'm on a good run. We go, I'm on a winning streak, and I don't want to lose that. Just like tracking your food in MyFitnessPal, where it has your sort of your daily streaks. It's if you don't log in for that one day, then you think, God, I kind of reset everything. It didn't change the progress that you've made. It didn't change all the achievements that you've had. But it's just, that number, it does matter, seeing that difference there. But anyway, sort of getting back to the conversation was, I tried to explain to them, this is what I've been doing. And they said, well, I wish I had that sort of discipline. And you try to say it's not really discipline because the changes were so gradual over such a long period of time. And I do try to qualify that with people as well and say, this took me a year. And overall, it's not a tremendous weight loss when you divide it up over a year. If it was, oh my God, 3 months ago, that's amazing. But over the course of a year, it's something that pretty much everyone can go, okay, well, we could do that. But then again, of course, I want to think back to when I was 325 pounds and someone had told me, oh yeah, they did this and they went through for 18 months and they lost 100 pounds. Even 100 pounds, if they had said, I think the person that I was talking to when I first heard that, I think it was somewhere around 1,800 pounds, 18 months. It doesn't matter what the time frame is at that stage. When you hear a big number like that and you think, that's like, what did they do? You want to do it. It seems achievable. If someone had just said, well, they lost 50 pounds, like that's a lot. But even if they say, well, it took them a year, but they lost 50 pounds and they've kept it off, like, great, I want to know what they did. So, but trying to convey that to someone and say, well, it took a year, and here's what I did on week 1, and here's what I did on week 2 and 3 and 4, and try to divvy it up that way, you're simply not going to be able to do it. So it's really difficult to try, and especially trying to, express that without sounding like it's false humility or just being a douchebag or just saying, oh no, it was a snap, it was easy. It hasn't been easy. We've made it as easy as we can. We've made it so that it's not a big change week to week because we want it to be something that we'll be able to stick with. And just like changing the exercise and things like that, when we first start in, it's a little difficult, but hopefully by the end of the week, you're used to it. And then you can sort of continue on that way. But I try to explain or try to express to this person and say, I don't have that kind of discipline. I couldn't go from where I was a year ago to where I am right now and expect to stick with it. But because we set things out right at the very beginning, this wasn't going to be a diet. We weren't going to restrict foods. We weren't going to restrict the amount that we're going to be eating for the first little bit. We're trying to cut back to a normal, healthy diet. We're trying to get to a point where, we aren't eating the vast quantities of sugar and sodium and all the bad stuff all the time, that we can still have it when we want. Even if it's, once a week, that's still only 52 days out of 365 that you're eating shitty foods like you did for the entire 365 before. It's still better. So trying to get that idea across to someone in a very quick amount of time when it's Friday and they want to go the fuck home is really difficult without coming across sounding like an asshole. And I don't even know if I did it accurately or did it properly. But I suspect that, we'll probably have that conversation again. Just because we've done the same thing with people that if, you're in close proximity to someone that says, oh, well, I lost 60 pounds or 50 pounds or 20 pounds. You want to find out, you want that information because we've struggled so long with this. We've tried so hard to lose the weight. And even when we do, we tend to gain it back because we've never really changed. We've just sort of, okay, well, I'm going to cut out all the bad stuff until I get to the weight that I want. And then I can go back to my old eating habits. So I suspect that I'll have that conversation again, and might be able to go into a little bit more detail, just to sort of say, well, here's what I did. Starting out, I did this, and then after a couple of weeks, then you move on to here and here and here and here. Everything from adding water to our diets to adding the fruits and vegetables before we started taking things away, like, the bad fats, and adding in good fats and all the other stuff that we've sort of looked at over the past year. And I hope that it is something that, we can discuss without me coming across as a pretentious ass, because that's a big concern of mine. Just coming across going, oh no, it's perfectly simple. Anyone can do it. This worked for me, and hopefully this worked for you. This may not work for absolutely everybody. I know people that have just went, no, enough is enough, and they've just cut out everything immediately, joined a gym, took the weight off, got in shape, and kept it off. We've seen that in with our YouTube videos as well. Some of the different YouTubers that we've looked at, that they're doing that. So sometimes people can just quit cold turkey. When I quit smoking, I quit cold turkey. I just stopped. I went from upwards of 4 packs a day, which in Canada are 25, so 100 cigarettes a day, to nothing. And that's what worked for me. I had tried weaning myself off and everything else, but apparently that's what worked, is that I just went, you know what, I'm done. I got sick, didn't want to smoke, and then after a couple of weeks, I'm like, I'm not going to start again, because that would be really stupid. So this worked for me, and it hopefully worked for you, but it may not work for everyone. So trying to come across as, this is the be-all and end-all, this is what you need to do. I really want to avoid that, but you also want to give them as much help as you can, and give them as much detail and say, well, yes, here's what I would do on week 1 and week 2 and 3, and just sort of progress that way. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes, and hopefully I'll have a better frame of mind that I can discuss it without, sounding like an ass. Probably we should just sort of start the conversation by going, all right, before we talk about this, if I come across looking like a douchebag, tell me. They will, which is good. I think that they really would just go, okay, now you're coming across as a douchebag. Like, great, okay, now I can fix that. So at least there's that. There's an openness there that I think, that honesty, that we'll be able to sort of talk back and forth that way, if it comes up again. I'm not going to broach the subject, because it's difficult to go up to somebody and go, hey, by the way, you want to talk about me being fat. So I'm going to let them sort of broach the subject. And if you've got people that are around you that have seen the change, and even if it's not a matter of numbers on a scale, just your health has improved and you're feeling better and you're looking better, and if it's always a good idea to have them approach you instead of just going, by the way, you're looking fat, you need to fix yourself, because we've gone through that ourselves. It never helps. We don't like it. Sure as hell I'm not going to do it to someone else, especially a coworker, which would be even weirder than trying to do it with a friend. But yeah, that was my week, and the end of Friday was a little bit odd as well. I like the idea of being able to share what I've been doing, but again, it's just I don't want it to sound like bragging, and even saying it sounds like bragging makes it sound as if like, oh, I've done so much. And I mean, part of me is going, you know what, I've lost at this point almost 85. We'll see what happens tomorrow, but almost 85 pounds, and yeah, that's something that I think I should go, okay, you know what? Yeah, that's an accomplishment. I can accept that. I should be proud of that. Especially, shouldn't be proud that I was that fat to begin with, but I know that I've still got a long way to go. But it's weird trying to say, oh, well, here's how much I've lost to this point, and this and this and this, and just, I don't know. It's kind of odd. But that was my week in a nutshell. Hopefully, this is going to be gone by tomorrow. Obviously, I can chat away for far too long, and it's still okay. It's a weird, sore, throaty thing, which I'm hoping is nothing. But, yeah, because otherwise, we haven't run into that yet, me being actually, like, too sick to record, or having laryngitis or something like that, because that would be weird, to just sort of end this, in the next 5 weeks at some point. I'm just going, I can't really say anything, so I'm going to try to avoid that. I do have lemon tea, which, again, is one of those douchey things. Like, I have taken real medicine, don't worry. But I do find that there's lemon tea that will help, at least with the hurty bits. So, ibuprofen, Tylenol, neocitrin, and lemon tea, all mixed in together. It's great. So, yeah. I know that I sort of shit on people for going, oh, go holistic. No, but lemon tea is a good drink, just to help with stuff, but you still need real medicine to fix yourself. Let's never get started on that. Anyway, I'm going to start preaching, so instead, I'm going to end this video here. So thank you very much for watching. If you liked it, please poke the like button for me. And in the meantime, keep yourself warm and fuzzy, and I will see you in the next video.